So Jason and I started Live, Love, Loss, and we started that show because, you know, when you've lost someone as close as a spouse, and a lot of people try to compare that to a divorce or something else like that, it's just not the same. But everyone has lost someone close to them, whether it's a grandparent or a parent or a child or a dear friend. And that loss is really hard. And a lot of times you find yourself trying to figure out how to pick up the pieces and move on. And so our goal for the show is how do we help other people, like specifically that have lost their spouse or lost their significant other, and then also lost a child?
Welcome to the Real Estate Pros Show, where we interview real estate investing professionals from coast to coast, as well as the service providers that serve the real estate investing industry. Our goal is simple: share what's working now to help you improve and scale your business to the next level and meet the pros that can help you get there. Real Estate Pros is powered by Investor Fuel, America's leader in helping real estate investors and professionals build the business you need to live the life you've always dreamed of. Let's start today's show. Property insurance for real estate investors doesn't have to be difficult, but it does need to be there to protect you when you need it. MyInvestorInsurance.com not only provides insurance at 15 to 30% cheaper than traditional agencies, it's built specifically for real estate investors like you. You can set up an account in about 2 minutes, get quotes on properties, turn on and turn off insurance for your fix and flip or rental properties in around 2 minutes without having to talk to anyone directly, all through our portal. There's no better way or faster way to make sure you've got the coverage you need to protect you, and no more lengthy policies either. Once you're set up, you're billed monthly and prorated by the day for however long your policy is active. It's powered by MSI, the third largest independent MGA, with 1.5 million customers and more than $1 billion in cumulative premiums written. Get set up today in about 2 minutes at myinvestorinsurance.com/fuel.
Hey folks, welcome back to the show. Today's guest, Katrina Madewell, is a realtor and leader of the Tampa Home Talk team. You can find her on YouTube at Katrina Madewell or at tampahometalk.com. Katrina, welcome to the show.
Hey, welcome. Thank you for having me, Dylan.
It's great to have you on here. And by the way, I'm a huge fan of all things Tampa. I've considered moving there several times. How long have you been in Tampa?
A native Tampa girl. So I was born and raised right here in Tampa. I've seen this whole city evolve from what used to be a small town to what's now a big city.
It's pretty remarkable. And I have spoken with so many different people in Florida real estate on this show. I seem to get a lot of guests from Florida. And I've been told, the west coast of Florida, South Florida, they're two different places. And honestly, having been to the southern Florida, Miami, I really haven't been to Tampa very much. I see the allure of the West Coast. You've got the beautiful beaches, right? You've got a slightly more cost-effective area. I see the allure of it.
Well, there's so much more to Tampa, right, than just the Gulf Coast beaches. Yes, that's an amazing part. I'm a big boater myself, so I spend time on the water. At this time of year, the manatees are all coming in up north, so that's a pretty cool experience if you've never done it. But certainly Tampa has a lot to offer. A lot of people from Miami actually have migrated into the Tampa market.
Yeah, I can definitely see that being the case. I mean, when we talk about some of the hotbeds for real estate in the country, of course, Florida is right on top of that list. I'm a Texas realtor, so I sometimes see people looking at destinations where they want to move to, or markets that they're looking at. Texas and Florida are right there. Like, I'm not sure who's on top given any specific day, but I certainly know Tampa's up there. I want to ask you maybe a very granular question about being a realtor out there for as long as you have been in Tampa. You mentioned the growth of the city and seeing it change over time. Right now, is there a current demographic shift that you see happening in the city of Tampa versus what people might have associated with it even 10 years ago?
So I used to remember the metrics. I don't anymore, like in terms of population. I probably should, right, being an agent, but I don't know that off the cuff. I will tell you that Tampa was like that small town vibe. So for example, those of us that grew up together, we went to elementary, middle, and high school together. We all kind of know each other. So many of you may have heard of Cigar City Brewing, right? Have you probably heard of that? So
I
that
haven't, but yeah.
Stop living on an island and join the #1 mastermind in America for professional real estate investors. Investor Fuel is a community of hundreds of the nation's top investors working together to build stronger businesses and better lives. In addition to the amazing community of real estate investors acting as a board of advisors for one another, Investor Fuel members have access to 100% funding on purchase and repairs for our members only, a health insurance program, and benefits and discounts that more than pays for the membership of most of our members, meaning it's actually costing you money to not be a member of Investor Fuel. If you're looking to scale your business and build a business that allows you to live the life of your dreams, please visit investorfuel.com today and book a call with our team.
that company is prevalent for Tampa. It's known to Tampa, but it's all over. And so the guy that started that is someone that I went to high school with, and so that's what I mean by like the people that grew up here, like me. When I was younger, we all sort of knew each other. It was a small town. Anybody that was anybody knew everybody. And now we are definitely a melting pot. So Tampa's been like this undiscovered gem for many, many years. And I've said to a lot of people, it has a lot of similarities to San Diego. And if you don't own here, you won't be able to afford to buy here in the future. And so, other than the humidity, that's a little different for some people than San Diego. I would say there's a lot of similar qualities and traits in terms of the city vibe, and it being a melting pot, people from all over.
You know, I've also heard amazing things about the surrounding area as well. And forgive me for my limited knowledge of Tampa, but I understand St. Petersburg is relatively close by. Is that considered like Tampa Metro?
Yes, correct. So Tampa Bay really encompasses, it depends on who you ask, 3 or 4 counties. So Hillsborough County is Tampa proper. And then when you get over by the Gulf beaches, St. Pete, Clearwater, that's Pinellas County. So that's the area you're talking about. And then Pasco County is just the northern county that basically is on top of both of those. And so you have a lot of people that Pasco was a bedroom community forever, right? Where people lived in Pasco and commuted to Tampa. And now we're starting to see that flip. More businesses are starting to come into the area. There's a lot of growth, and people are commuting here and even coming from some of the northern and eastern counties as well.
You know, there's something in the water. I think it just might be the weather. I don't exactly know what it is, but I've spoken with so many real estate entrepreneurs, investors, business owners who are moving their business to Florida. And it's probably the weather, but then as well, I also think that there's a culture of entrepreneurship out there. And right now, I've seen quite a number of people in the Tampa area that are young entrepreneurs as well. And initially, that was surprising to me, but then you see it a couple dozen times, and you're like, okay, this is a trend.
Yeah. I do think there's a lot of that. There's so many people moving here. It's hard to keep up with all the people that actually live here. Anybody that's been here for any amount of time, I probably know them just because I'm from here. I'm born and raised here. So I know many of the people that have been here for a long amount of time or anyone that's certainly making an impact here.
On the flip side of that, do you see any, I would say, transiency in the population in a sense where people might move there for a time period, but then they might move back? Is that something, or is Tampa pretty sticky as far as people moving and staying there?
Say it's pretty sticky. We have that normal New York to Florida migration pattern, which we've had for many, many years. But in the recent trends, like after COVID, we've actually seen people from places like California move here, which is odd because that normally has not been a normal migration pattern. They typically would move to places like Phoenix, or places that are a little east of California. But we do see quite a few people, a lot of people from the Midwest come here. I think the day and age we live in now, right, with the younger generation, people don't talk to each other as frequently as they used to. So it makes a little bit harder to connect if you don't do it online. I think that's just true in the world that we live in. And then it's how do you show up as a person once you've met online? So I think that's a big part of it. To answer your question, Dylan, is it sticky? I think like with any place, if you immerse yourself into the culture, it's going to be sticky and you're going to love Tampa. If you say, oh, I can't meet anybody because I don't know anybody, well, then you're going to find what you're looking for.
That's interesting, and I've noticed somewhat of a different trend in Texas. I would say I've had quite a number of relationships in business and then friendships where I've seen people move from California and then move back. And I said, I've seen this now personally enough times that this has to be a greater trend. And I was living in San Antonio at the time. Then I later moved to Dallas, and I I saw it happen in both places. And it is interesting, right? People would come from
If you're looking for consistent, high-quality leads, look no further than Investor Machine. Investor Machine isn't just another agency, it's the most sophisticated, data-driven lead generation company on the planet for real estate investors, and serves the role of being not just a lead generator for your business, but a marketing partner that is helping you achieve your goals along the way. Go to investormachine.com to learn more and schedule a call with our team today.
one side of the country all the way down to Tampa, Florida. And it's not like it's not sunny in California either. So they've got good weather out there. So they're moving for other reasons. I do want to pivot a bit here, though, Katrina, and ask you about some of the new projects that you're working on. I know Live, Love, Loss is a podcast that you just released.
It is. Myself and Jason McIntosh, which is another mega agent like me here in Tampa. As I mentioned to you, I did Tampa Home Talk for many years, since 2013, and we did that in a live radio program. And after my husband passed away in 2024, I decided to take a break from everything, and subsequently decided to change my show, Tampa Home Talk, from a live radio show to, being live radio first and then going to a podcast. We flipped that and put podcast first and said, okay, now we'll send it to the station. Because people listen to stuff more on demand, right? So in my quest to do that and revamp my studio, I reconnected with Jason McIntosh. We ended up talking. His office is where Real Producers is hosted. You probably have that there in Texas. And so he is a widower like me. I'm a widow. And then he had the worst. Not only did he lose his wife in his 30s, he lost a child 10 years later. And so we started this journey just in a conversation about, widowhood and what it's like, and also dating in 2025, which is a dumpster fire, right? Anyone that's dating in this day and age knows that. I was married with my husband for 31 years. So you can imagine what a culture shock that was to re-enter the dating world, right? After being single for a year.
It's a culture shock for everybody. I mean, we none of us can believe the situation out here.
Well, the thing, Dylan, is the last time I was single, I was 20 years old, and these didn't exist.
That's right.
So a lot of stuff has changed, right? And so Jason and I started Live, Love, Loss, and we started that show because, when you've lost someone as close as a spouse, and a lot of people try to compare that to a divorce or something else like that, it's just not the same. But everyone has lost someone close to them, whether it's a grandparent or a parent or a child or a dear friend. And that loss is really hard. And a lot of times you find yourself trying to figure out how to pick up the pieces and move on. And so our goal for the show is, how do we help other people, specifically that have lost their spouse or lost their significant other, and then also lost a child? Unless you've ever been in that space, it's so hard to even empathize with that. And so the goal of the show is really just to connect with people that have lost someone. So if that's you or someone would highly encourage you to share the show, Live, Love, Loss.
Now, when we talk about the different projects that you've been involved in, this seems to be a separate pursuit, because it's not driven by real estate, right? This is specifically a separate niche, right? Is this a first time, doing a venture like this that's outside of the real estate space, or have you done other business outside of real estate like this before?
So, I want to say yes. I started a podcast a long time ago, What Would I Do If I Were 22? And I was interviewing people over 40 that had a net worth of $1 million or higher. Sort of fizzled out. My husband got sick. Life takes you in a different direction. And as you know, this is a commitment. It's a big commitment to keep a podcast going. And so, yes, this is the first time I've done something outside of real estate. Or any type of business venture where it's sort of just for fun, for healing, and also meant to help other people in the process. And the whole thing started from a conversation. Jason has a radio background like me, and we're sitting at lunch talking, and we're going, this is an interview. This is a podcast. So that's how the whole idea was born.
The ability for people to present a passion project, something that they feel can make an impact, something that would benefit themselves, but also folks who may be listening. To me, that helps even newer realtors build a brand and establish themselves. Because oftentimes I had someone come to me and ask me, should I start a podcast? And it wasn't really real estate based, but they were a realtor. And I said, honestly, I think it might be a great fit, because what they were interested in specifically was music. And I said, well, people might come to you for music, but then realize you sell homes and be like, hey, I want to work with someone who I like their music. They have a similar, taste in music that I do.
If you're a new or newer real estate investor looking to launch or grow your real estate investing business, please check out Investor Fuel Club. It's a coaching community, but unlike anything you've ever seen before. And you can actually partner with members of our mastermind from coast to coast on deals right in your market. There's no better opportunity to build a consistent business than to literally partner with pros to help you avoid costly mistakes, avoid the need for capital to do deals, and help you eliminate your fears as you're starting your business. Learn more about Investor Fuel Club at investorfuel.com/club.
And that can be a bridge there. Of course, I'm not saying that everyone should start a podcast to sell homes, but I also think that oftentimes these relationships and connections build in mysterious ways, and you can make a connection with someone like halfway across the world. And when they're looking to do business in your neck of the woods, you're the person that they think about.
My very first appointment I had, I told you I took 3 months off when my husband passed away. The very first appointment that they sent me on listing appointment, they didn't even know. I discovered it when I showed up there. The lady was a widow. Her husband passed away, and that's why I was there to sell her home. She was moving out of state to be near with family. And I thought, that's interesting how life shows up. It just sort of aligns people down the path they're supposed to go. But I think that's true with anything, Dylan. Yeah, you have to live into your hobbies or whatever makes you happy, or what is it, maybe could be a passion project. And then from there, you just connect with your people, right? You connect with your tribe and the people that you have synergy with. There's no point to do business with anyone else.
Yeah, and I think a lot of times people will look for, hey, how do I build like the most professional presence possible? And how do I make sure that I'm appearing to be, super experienced and very legitimate? And that's great. And I do think there's places for that. But I also think that in a business where it's very much like a contact sport, you're shoulder to shoulder people, you're in their homes, right? That you also want to be able to have people feel like they know you before they've even met you, like know you before they know you.
People connect with real. So no one wants you to show up with a fake persona or be somebody you're not. They connect with a person that's real. So even like, for example, live radio, you don't get a chance to edit. So if you trip over your own words or whatever, you just have to laugh at yourself and keep going. And I found that the people over the years have really resonated with that. They appreciate it. They love it. They see me as a real person, which is how I want them to see me. Some of the most awkward appointments that I've ever been on are when people are actually radio show listeners first, and then I'll show up to sell their house. And I'm like, no, my real job is I sell real estate and I just have fun with, Tampa Home Talk. So please don't look at me like a celebrity. I'm a regular person like you, and I'm here to help you. And so I think people relate to that. The longer they listen to the show, the more they know you. They pick up little tidbits about you, your family, what you like to do for fun. People like that.
Yeah, and I think unless you've got a pre-existing book of business, it's a great way, like you mentioned, for people to get to know you. And then on top of that, it helps build relationships in these really interesting ways. Like I've had people reach out to me saying, "I saw you on this podcast," and I never did it initially to develop connections. I started it because it was a great way to have interesting conversations with people. But I ended up meeting my broker as a guest on this show. And so that's just how these things happen. We are coming up on time here, though, Katrina. Where can folks go? Where can our audience go to learn more about you? Any projects that you're working on? How can folks get in contact with you or your team?
So you can find me pretty much across all the social channels, pretty much on everything. I'm at Tampa Homes. Or you can find me Katrina Madewell. So Katrina like the hurricane, Madewell like something that's made well, or the store, Madewell. My book, Selling Through Relationships, is available on Amazon. I know your podcast is Investor Fuel, so we can spend some time on that too. But it's how I talk about people investing in real estate, and sometimes it looks a little different than the way you expect it to. And I talk about that a little bit in the book, and a lot on the show and in other social channels.
Katrina, thank you so much for your time. Thank you for coming on the show today.
Yeah, thank you, Dylan.
Thanks for joining us for today's show. You can learn more about the amazing benefits of the Investor Fuel Mastermind community including surrounding yourself with hundreds of other rock stars, 100% financing on your deals, and members-only discounts from vendors you're likely already using that, as a member of Investor Fuel, will save you more than the cost of your membership. Visit investorfuel.com to learn more. You can also check out the show's notes for access to free resources, how to get access to world-class lead generation, and even how to work with me directly one-on-one. Don't forget to subscribe so you never miss another episode. See you on the next show.